Hey, what's good, y'all? What's good with y'all? How y'all doing, man? It's the Walker Bar for Black Authentic Truth. Um, I didn't get a chance to go live on Sunday, so I wanted to go live. Wanted to go live before I actually do class in about an hour and a half. So this is going to be a quick live, but I got a couple of things I want to talk about, a couple of videos that I seen, and I'm gonna start it off like I always started off. How has everybody been? How is everybody evening going? Um, what is the weather like where you at? I was recently in Atlanta, and the weather was beautiful. The weather was really good at the time this last past week when I was in Atlanta, and now getting back to California, it's ugly and gray, and it just looks terrible outside. Okay, let me make sure everything, my audio is on point. But yeah, it looks terrible in Southern California right now for the last few days. Looks like it looked like it's London. Like, you know how London always had that gray overcast? That's what it looks like. That's what it looked like in Southern California. Renee said it's 65 and feeling good. 65 is for people out here, 65 is it's a decent day. It's not necessarily beach weather like people would like it. It got to be a little warmer, but it is definitely, decent. Um so yeah, celebrated the celebrated the I'm sorry, let me do this. Celebrated the Lord's Passover in Atlanta, which was dope, which was awesome, which is always a good experience to see black people, brown people come together in the same spirit, um and understand in the same spirit as understanding who they are according to history and according to the Bible. So that was dope. Um, what else happened? What else? What else? What else? Something I'm forgetting. Okay, on my way back from the Passover on the flight back on the was it the last leg? I can't remember if it was the last leg or the first because I had a layover. But it's a funny thing happened to me. A Karen, right? Karen went hardcore Karenator on some white people on behalf of me, my black family, which I didn't ask for, but it was just funny to see it happen. So my kids was sitting in the aisles like probably like two lanes aisles ahead of me. And when you get out of the airplane, you have people that want to hurry up and rush to the front. Well, it was a white couple that hurry up and rush to the front, and they got like right next to me. And so as it's getting closer for people to unload, and my kids is getting up, my son is grabbing the luggage to go. Karen gets at them like, you need to let them get up because their kids are right there. I didn't ask for it. I wasn't even tripping because I figured like, my son, they'll all go out and they'll just wait for me. They'll wait for us. I wasn't even tripping on nothing like that. You know what I mean? But the Karenator, she was going hard. She was carrying. Karenator was going hard on other white people on behalf of a black family. That's what ended up happening. And I'm like, damn, Karen going hard. I'm like, damn, usually Karen is going hard on black people. Usually she's coming out the woodwork and saying something off the wall to black people, but she was coming at these other white people and cut the hell out of them. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it was a white man and this girl, and he's saying, well, I'm just trying to get off the plane because we don't have any luggage and we're just trying to hurry up. And she's like, well, they're there first and you're gonna have to wait for them. And his woman looked at her and said, God bless you. And she was like, okay, yeah, I know. Like Karen was on, you know what I mean? She was on. And then as we're walking out and we're walking through the little tunnel thing to get off the plane, she's behind me and she's like, your kids were so well mannered. She's like praising my kids' behavior and all that, which I didn't know how they was acting because I had fell asleep. But anyway, Karen went hard for your boy and his family. Like I said, I wasn't tripping, but it was funny to see. It was funny to see Karening in action against other white people. It was funny. It was hilarious in a way, you know. But anyway, yeah, that was a little experience. So I want to get into this video, okay, with Carmelo Anthony. Everybody knows that Carmelo Anthony, the case with him and Austin Metcalf, where he stabbed Austin Metcalf. I read the police report where it says that the brother said that his brother put hands on him, was pushing him, told him to get out of the section. He stabbed him. He went to jail. Everybody was talking about that. The bail was too high. The $1 million bail was too high. There have been other people who have committed the same crime with a far lower bail. Well, he was released. We seen that, and there was something interesting that I seen in the press conference for the attorneys. Now I'm going to play that. Okay, let me get that real quick so you can understand something. There's a solid point to be made in this. All right, shout out to everybody that's in the live. Shout out to you. You know, something else I didn't say about Atlanta. Now, I didn't came down with something, you know, and I do have allergies since I turned 40 years old, which they say that's what happens to a lot of people. But I'm trying to tell you, it's something in that Atlanta air, because I don't never, you know, get like this. Definitely something in that Atlanta air. That alternative lifestyle air, that Atlanta air got something in it. I'm telling you. I don't want to say nothing to get the live taken down, but that Atlanta air, that LGBTQ air, boy. Let me get this. Here we go. Let me scrub through here. Let me see a certain area.
Withhold judgment and let both of these families have justice. That let both of these young men, the Metcalf family and the memory of who they've lost, but also Carmelo, have a fair and full justice process.
How do you know that you're feeling on the reduction of this bond? You feel it's fair?
Yeah, I feel it's fair. Bond, as the judge said, is not supposed to be an instrument of oppression. It's not supposed to keep people in jail. It's not supposed to punish. It's supposed to ensure that a person shows up to court, complies with all conditions, and it's supposed to keep the community safe. So this is a...
So he was asked about the bond, whether or not the bond, how does he feel about the bond? And he basically said the bond is not supposed to be an instrument of oppression. It's supposed to ensure, fairness, and that the person doesn't, leave, and that, basic things that go with the trial. It's not supposed to be something that where they know that you can't get out. They know that it has nothing to do with him not showing up to court. It don't have that bond being that high had nothing to do with that. So it being lower shows that it's not being used as an instrument of oppression. Now you got to ask the question, what is oppression? What is oppression in its most basic form? We hear the word oppression thrown around a lot. We hear people that will say to Black people, we are not oppressed. Now, he just said the bond is not supposed to be an instrument of oppression, but a lot of times in law, in the judicial system, a lot of things are used to oppress Black people. You see it in the sentencing. You see it in the way they treat a white person for the same crime as a Black person, and how there's two different outcomes, two different verdicts. You see where they put you through all this stuff that they know that you can't complete. They throw all this stuff at you and say you owe this much money and you got to do this much public service. You got to do all of this crazy stuff because they know that you're going to defect anyway. In a lot of ways, child support is an instrument of oppression. But what is oppression? That's the question. What is oppression? In the most basic form, oppression is unfair treatment from a government or force. That's what oppression is. A lot of times I feel like when we talk about oppression, people say, you're not oppressed, you're not oppressed. Blah, blah. I'd be thinking like, damn, do you think oppression is slavery? You must think oppression is something else. No, oppression is simply being treated unfairly. Unfairly. And that happens to black people all the damn time. And when I heard him say that, I said, you know what? An instrument of oppression is something that has been used. Now, they're not racist anymore. They're not outwardly racist anymore. Let me take that back. I didn't mean to say that. They're not outwardly racist anymore. But they can be inwardly racist through laws and through, judgments and through giving you $1 million bond where there's a white man that did the same crime and he has a $200,000 bond. And so you say, well, that's unfair. That's not right. That don't seem right. We don't seem like we're I thought justice is supposed to be for all. I thought we were on a equilibrium here. I thought we were all about equality in the justice system. But you see, even with him, he's explaining that, Carmelo is free because the judge realized that he doesn't want that high bond to be used as an instrument of oppression, as though, he's going to. It's not like they think that Carmelo was going to be a flight risk with this high profile case. It's not like they think that Carmelo was and his family was just going to disappear and go to Mexico. There was no other reason. There was no reason at all for his bond to be $1 million other than oppression, unfairness by a government or force, a governing entity. That's what oppression is. So the next time somebody says that black people are not oppressed, you let them look at the definition. And if we could, let me just get the definition, right? Let's get the definition real quick. Let me pull this up real quick. Here you go. Well, this is Google. Prolonged, cruel, or unjust treatment or control. Unjust is the same as unfair. But it also threw in there prolonged and cruel, right? Cruel. Now, what is the people that suffer the most cruelty? Prolonged cruelty and unfair cruelty, unjust, where they have to go in the streets and beg and fight for justice for simple things. It's black people. So I just wanted to bring that out, that point for that particular story, right? That, you see that there's so many ways that black people can be oppressed. And in this situation, had not Carmelo Anthony been allowed to have a lower bail so that he could get out, then you could have called that oppression, an instrument of oppression, that bond being so high, because who will be able to afford it? Okay. So let me drop that. Let me get on to the next story. Now, this is going right with this because the Carmelo Anthony story is so high profile. Everybody's talking about it. All the white supremacists is coming out the woodworks. Everybody's angry and volatile over this case, but nobody is talking about this case that I'm about to pull up. Nobody is talking about this case that I'm finna go into.
His parents, but investigators say he had another target in mind, the president. That's exactly what prosecutors say they found on a Waukesha County boy's phone.
Experts say there were indeed red flags. Bill Miston shows us the warning signs of extremism.
The internet can be a...
Now, let me just, before they go into this, let me just say, now this boy, he done killed his parents and he had a big plot to assassinate the president, Donald Trump. And then you're not hearing nothing about this. It's not the number one story that they're putting in the media. What are they putting in the media? The face of Carmelo Anthony, of his mugshot. But we have someone that done took out his parents, killed his parents, and then now he's going for the president. Where are all of you white supremacists and all of you people that are making threats and sending pictures of babies with knives stuck in their head to the Carmelo Anthony family? Where are you at about this? I'm sure you're not threatening him or anybody that's trying to help him. I'm sure you don't care about this story. Let me go. Keep going.
Force for good, but dark places are just a few clicks away.
You don't have to go into the woods and find like an old school militia guy to give you like a handbook from a fax machine. You can just open your phone.
John Lewis is a research fellow at George Washington University's program on extremism.
And I think as that barrier to entry has gotten lower and lower, it's enabled more and more just normal average individuals to fall down that rabbit hole that much easier.
So this is the play that they pushing with this. Online radicalization, meaning kids that are learning things online. They're not just saying that they're not blaming him. They're blaming the things online that children see. You see how they try to take away the guilt. They try to take away the shame from this being a young white male, killed both his parents, and was about to go. He had a whole plan to go off Donald Trump. Now they're blaming it on online radicalization. You can find bad things anywhere on the internet. Do they say that with black children? Do they say that when a black person does something like, oh, they did something where they can go online and find this? This is a growing threat. They don't. They blame the black person. They put all the blame on them, but now they're kind of deflecting it to online radicalization. And children, parents got to watch out for with their children.
Last month, prosecutors charged a 17-year-old Waukesha County boy.
17, same age as Carmelo Anthony.
Accusing him of shooting and killing his mother and stepfather. Court filings show the belief it was part of a months-long plan.
The red flags are there, right? Obsession with violence, sending these gore edits to classmates, talking openly with classmates about their desire to either self-harm, harm their parents, or both.
A federal search warrant details material on the boy's phone related to a satanic neo-Nazi cult, admiration of Hitler, and a plan to kill the president to start a political revolution, and communicating about this plan, real or not, with someone online.
Unfortunately, there is an
So the point is that he did all of this, killed his parents. So he planned this, premeditated, murdered his parents, 2 people. You're not hearing about it. Now they have stories, but it's not being plastered across social media and news outlets like the story of Carmelo Anthony. They're talking about how Carmelo Anthony took, Austin Metcalf's life away, this Christian football star, and they're running this, this guilt trip thing. But you don't hear nothing about this. He done off both his parents and was planning to, start a revolution by taking Donald Trump out. But you don't hear nothing about it. They say, well, you gotta, that it's not him. It's the things that are going on online. It's the people he's talking to online. So they take the blame away from them. Take that stain off of the white race. But when it's the brother, Carmelo, these are the people that are most violent in society. These are the people that are always doing stuff like this. When Carmelo Anthony was an A student, just like Austin Metcalf, same age, had 2 jobs. Now this 17-year-old, I don't know the particulars of what he had going on for himself. He obviously had too much time on his hands. But the point is that you see how the media play that game. They're not pushing this story like they pushing the story with Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. Not at all, right? What y'all think about it? What y'all think about it? Yeah, so like I said, in Atlanta, he has man that water is something in the water or is something in the air. You know what I'm saying? My allergies didn't do too good getting up out of there. Hey, what's good with you, Black Rain? It's no sweat, Black Rain. This was just a surprise live. I just went live right now. You know, it's gonna be a short live. I got like two more stories. Um, then I'm gonna get up out of here. Uh Sister Baratanawa said, "Wow, that's crazy." Renee Gaines said, "I didn't even know anything about it." Yes, because it's not being broadcast like that. The story, they real quiet with this story. Even though you can find it if you look it up, it's not everywhere like the Carmelo Anthony case with Austin Metcalf. It's not everywhere. It lets you know that they have a certain agenda and they got a certain play that they're trying to push when it comes to how they want people to be on edge and everything. Because you got a situation where you have a black child that unalived a white child, a white kid. And so right there, that's volatile in itself because is people going to automatically connect that with race, which I mean, it is about race. But if it was two white people or two black people, they wouldn't be pushing that story that much. You probably would have heard about it and it would have gone away. Not this particular time. Not with a black young man killing a white young man. They not letting it go like that. And when into the people that say that it's not about race, that's true. Like the acts that happen, it's really not about race. If somebody attacks you that's bigger than you and you had a weapon to protect yourself, you probably would protect yourself, right? But the thing is everything is in context. You can step out of yourself and say, yeah, it's not about race. But everything we do in America and the history between black people and white people make something like this about race. You can't escape it. It can't be escaped. Renee said it's the ATL air. Yes, it's the ATL. It's the ATL. Hey, thank you, Black Rain. I appreciate that. Right. So like when it come to race, when they say it's not about race, yeah. If we lived in a place where I don't even know if that place, yeah, it would have to be another country where people don't see race. In America, people are it's all about race. Anytime there's an issue between black and white, whether it's an argument, whether it's a perceived disrespect, whether it's a murder, an accident, whatever the case may be, it will always be about race because of the history of that sits in between black and white people. You can't escape that history. And people have tried and tried to do that, but it just doesn't go anywhere because the wrongs of the past have never been righted. So it's always going to be sitting there front and center whenever something happens like this. And you can't blame uh either or. You can't blame white people, you can't blame black people. Definitely can't blame black people because black people were at the hands of the oppression on the bad end of the stick. So you can't. But my point is that people try to take the race out of a situation as though we're all one color and we're all one ethnicity when we are not. That's not how the Most High designed us. That's not how He created us. We all different. You know what I mean? But yeah. So let me drop this, and this is an interesting video with Wallo. Okay, remove that. Boom, boom. Let me pull it up real quick. Then I got some Black History
Oh, I'm black.
And I got some black history after this one. Well, just some, like I was talking about black people, our captivation with Egypt and how we are not the Egyptians. I got some stuff for y'all that I was talking about on the prior live after this.
Us. Oh, I'm black. No black people. Nobody gives a fuck about that. Kill that shit. Either you got a good business or you don't. All that shit, don't nobody want to hear that shit. That's a hustle. Support me because I got a black business. Is your restaurant clean? Is the food good? Do you got consistent cooks? Is the material of your shit good? Stop doing that. Oh, you support the white people? No, I support consistency, baby. Yeah. Fuck about what color you is. I'm gonna spend my money. That paper, I'm gonna spend them millions where the fuck I want to spend it at. Whether it's Porsche, Ferrari, Lamborghini, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do while I'm here. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, I ain't gonna be finessed off some black shit. But one thing about it, 70% of you motherfuckers is not going to make it. I'm not no motherfucking fake ass motivational speaker that talk this dumb shit. I'm the #1 nigga in the country. You know why? Y'all seen me come out of the penitentiary. I make millions and I make millionaires, baby. You understand me? I come from the ghetto.
So this is Wallo, and it looks like he's at a seminar. Now, if you don't know who Wallo is, he's on $1 million worth of game with what's his name? The other brother. Anyway, Wallo came out of prison and they built, an empire. And so he came from a place where he was in prison at one time, and it's like a rags to riches stories. And a lot of people are looking at Wallo. They're upset with what he said he was basically saying, just because you're black, forget all that about supporting a black business just because you're black. Like, I'm not doing that. I mean, what's the quality of your business? Do you make good food? Do you do this? Do you do that? And so a lot of black people got upset with that. They were upset because saying, I'm not going to just support you because you're a black business. Gilly the Kid. That's right. Gilly the Kid. I don't know why he did not. I don't know why it didn't click with me. Thank you, It's Harper. You heard about Trump trying to soften the history of black people in museums, to get our history. Yeah, yes, I heard of that. Wiping the history off the records, the history of Army veterans such as Jackie Robinson. Definitely heard of that. That's part of that. Thank you, Barthanawa. That's part of that critical race theory. Black Rain, that's the part of that. And that's why it's so important to know your history and to keep our own history alive and know it so that can't nobody take it from us, right? If we don't know it, if we don't know it, and it disappears, then it's like it never existed. So, it's a shame that, but he's basically doing what people have done over the centuries to black people, try to write away our accomplishments and try to write away what we have done for this nation. But getting back to Wallo and Gilly the Kid, well, Wallo came out of prison. He got with Gilly the Kid. They created, $1 million worth of game and got big endorsement deals dealing with white people, multimillionaires, billionaires. And so he has established himself as somebody that is a motivational speaker and that, could go and speak to people, as you see right here. Well, right here, this clip, people are upset because he's basically saying, I'm not supporting you just because you're a black business. Now, the way I look at it is this: when he said, about what is the quality of your business? What do you produce? What do you make? That is something that we should already look at a business as. Like, we don't go to businesses because they're black. Black people don't go to businesses because they're white. You know what I'm saying? We go to businesses because they're there. Now, once we get into business or we buy something or purchase something from someone, some food, some clothes, whatever, it's from that first purchase that you make a decision, or is this good quality or not? Is this cheap clothes or not? Do I like the quality of this shoe or not? You get what I'm saying? So I wouldn't say I'm not going to support a black business just because it's a black business. I would say support a black business, but you got one chance to, convince me. You got one chance to, like, because, okay, I done been to places. I done been to like food places that got some bomb food. But for instance, one time I come, they're not open when they're supposed to be open. Another time I come, the meat is kind of tough. You know what I'm saying? And so at least I gave you a chance. But I don't want to say I'm not going to give you a chance just because I'm expecting the best of the best. I have to first try it out to know what the quality is. I can't just you could, but usually I'm not just going to go off of reviews. I gotta, test it out. I gotta buy a shirt. Okay, I bought a shirt. Okay, your shirt. Oh, this is a little too thin. I washed it one time and it ripped. I ain't gonna get no shirt from there no more. You know what I'm saying? I support it. That's what support to me is. It's like support at least once, and in that once, you'll find out whether you love it, you like it, or you hate it. You'll find out right then. But another thing about this is like, we talk about supporting black businesses as a collective, as the black community. Now we do that. But integration is the reason why you even have to say support a black business. Integration is the culprit. It's the reason, it's the foundation of why you even have to say support a black business. Support black. And he says some other things in there like, I don't care what you look like. I care about the quality. I care about consistency. He spoke about the white. Oh, you getting it from the white people? I give a fuck about consistency. Well, yeah, they consistent because they got everything. They got the market squared. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when I first started, I said, you don't think about, oh, I'm going into a white business because hell, 90% of the businesses are white. You're not thinking about like I'm supporting a white business. You have to think of you recognize when you walk into a place or you getting something from anybody, you recognize who you're buying it from. And it's very rare for them to be all black people. Now, when I was just in Atlanta, there was some black people, but it was also East Indians, But my point is that, you don't have to say, you don't think about it when you go into a business because the majority of the businesses usually are ran by white people. It pops out to your head, to your eye. It's like when you're in a place where there's not a lot of black people and you see the first black person. That's how it is if you walk up into a business and it's all black and you like, damn. Like I had got a vehicle. I was looking for a vehicle online, found a place, went to it, didn't even know when I got in there, it was a black family. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, damn, it shocked me, especially where I'm from in California. It shocked me. So it's like that. You basically, you be like, damn, it catches your attention. It catches your eye when if you didn't know it was black people behind the scenes. Let me see. Yeah. So that's basically, I think I said everything I want to say on that. Like, I understand what Wallo is saying, but we should look at all businesses we go to as what is their quality. It shouldn't be whether or not they're black or white. And if we're supporting black businesses, at least give them one chance to reel you in. Give them one chance to see what's the quality of their product. It's something that they have online. It caught your eye, and then you got it. And then when you got it, it's not the material, how it looked like on the picture. It's not the quality, then you can say, okay, I supported this business, but they won't be getting no more of my money. That's how I think we should approach supporting other black people. At least give them a chance. Now, some stuff you can see off top that, okay, it don't seem like they got it all together. They don't have their program together. Their hours of service are not together. There's one day they're open, another day they're not. Some company, I mean businesses, you can see like, okay, they're not 100% professional yet, so I'm a stall out. I ain't gonna, I'm cool. I'll pass. Most of the time I don't support my own. It's because I can't get it lower, meaning buying hair products and clothes and nails. That's the problem. But you know what I'll tell you about that, Renee, is that uh there was a sister that I knew back in the day. This she still has a beauty supply from my knowledge, right down here, right out here. And I remember her saying that, okay, not the East Indians, but the Asians have a lock when it comes to hair products when you getting them wholesale. And we like right by LA, but when you getting them wholesale, the Asians have products in the popular products, they won't sell to outsiders. They'll only sell to other Asians. And they literally have a monopoly on the hair products. And because of that, a lot of the price that they have to pay is translated or transferred to the consumer, is transferred to Black people. So I've seen that before, I've heard it before, and I never forgot what that sister has said about how they have to pay more, and certain products, popular hair products, they won't even sell to them, which is it's crazy to think about because they're making money off of Black people as far as beauty supplies, hair greases and things of that nature, wigs, hair extensions and all of that. And we're not even benefit. We're not even the number one producer or in control of that. We should be in control of hair care and beauty products, but we're not, which is, when you think about it, it's you see how much we are taking advantage of. We should be in control of things that we consume the most, in my opinion. Brilliance Win said, yep, it's about creating monopolies. We can create our own monopolies. It's smart for them to do that. We can create value and do that also, right? Yeah, because I think, like what you said, Brilliance, is we just got to find the right people that is willing to deal with us, and all it takes is a start. Somebody that can get it. It's always somebody that is a part of that community, say, and they're on the outskirts, but they still have the connections. And then they start dealing with Black people. And from there, we can create something. And then all of these smaller stores, they'll start noticing that Black people ain't coming to them no more. They're going to somewhere else. And then now all of that wealth can be transferred going somewhere else. Black Rain said, getting rich off of the children of Israel. East Indians sell their hair after they go to the pagan temples and pray spirits into it and then sell it to us. I've seen that Black Rain on I think it was Good Hair. Maybe it wasn't that Chris Rock documentary. But yeah, I've seen that. And I've also seen where they just get hair out of the sewer, and it'd be balls of hair, and they refine it. They comb it out, get all the stuff out of it, put it through machines, and next thing you know, it's just looking like hair again. I'm like, bro, these people are hard up to get $1. They do not care. Brathan said, kind of heard that too, and that's why Black business have to have our prices a little higher to keep up. Yeah, just to keep up. And you know what? I have gotten certain stuff from Black companies, whereas it's priced a little high, and I'm like, damn, that's kind of high. Like, just say like a hoodie. Okay, all right, the hoodie, I'm used to getting a hoodie for like $20-$25 maybe. Their hoodies is like 60, 50, 60. You like, dang, why so high? And it's probably the cost that they have to transfer in order to make a profit, which is, it's messed up. But if it's quality, quality in the look that you can't find nowhere else, it kind of like beats out the price you have to pay, if I'm making sense. You know what I'm saying? Is sometimes you'll sacrifice because you're like, I've never seen nothing like this. This is dope. I'll get this. just be on the strength that I've never seen nothing like this. I know I'm not going to find nothing like this before. I mean, again, you know, um, which takes me to this, and I should have did the story on this, right? Um, I guess China people in China have started showing how cheap it is to make products that people here in America and other places pay thousands of dollars for. Like, what is it? Hermes bags and Birkin bags and Louis Vuitton and all of that type of stuff. And how they're saying it's just pennies to create this stuff, and then it gets out there. I mean, it gets out here, and you're paying thousands of dollars for it. I never understood, like, I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I never understood having, $1,500 sneakers, Gucci sneakers, Louis Vuitton sneakers. Why? You know what I'm saying? Like, why? Is it something special in the shoes that, when you sit down, they start massaging your feet? I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then you have people wearing jeans that are $200, $500, $1,000 for a pair of jeans. Like, what? And then these purses that are, tens of thousands of dollars. Like, what? There's a video of a woman going crazy after the people walk up to her and tell her that she's been approved, like, I guess for the loan to get one of those Birkin bags. I don't know how much it is, but I'm just like, this is sad that, our people are spending all this money on something when it's the same materials that they're using in everything. Like, the cotton in a regular t-shirt is the same cotton in a designer shirt. It's the same cotton. The leather, the same leather. And so you're really just paying for a name and an image you're paying for a name in the image that you're doing it big, and that you live in the good life, because you have a Gucci bag and a Birkin bag, and I don't know all the names of the bags, but when I was coming up, it was like Gucci, Fendi, Coach, and now it's Birkin, and then I seen it say Hermes. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. You're paying for a name, thousands of dollars for a name, and now they're coming out saying, like, it takes, like, I can't remember what they said. Was it $1? Any of y'all seen that? What was they saying, like $1? How much it costs? And how much it costs to make those bags? It's so cheap. I think they said, I know when I was coming up, they were saying like it costs like 25 cents to make a pair of Jordans. And then they would get out here and they sell them for $125. You know what I mean? The markup is crazy. But when we talk about spending hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars on something that you're not going to even use that much, that's diabolically crazy. That's insane. That money can go to so many other things that are more important. Whoa, that's crazy. It's Harper said some Birkin bags go for $100,000. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. For me, $100,000. Let me just put it like, okay. Let's just say that's 4 vehicles. That's a home. You can send your kids to college. That's crazy. You know what I'm saying? 100,000. Some of them do. And what's funny? I remember that time when some of y'all probably remember that when Oprah Winfrey she was in like Switzerland or Sweden, and she was in one of those stores, and she wanted to see a bag that was kind of up, and the store associate would not get the bag, would not give her the bag, because she looked at her, because she was Black. She looked at her like she couldn't afford it anyway. She didn't even know who Oprah Winfrey was. But because she was Black, she would not give her the bag. Crazy, right? Renee Gaines said, I'm going to China to get a bag. I'm going to China to get a bag. I never been a name brand. Right. Go and get you one of them bags for $3 and come back. There's another video with a brother. He said he had a whole bunch of Gucci. Was it Gucci? I don't know, but he had some designer shoes, slides, Gucci slides, and he was upset because he spent, I think he was saying between 400 and 1,500 on some slides, and he was like throwing them down because they just China just exposed how none of that stuff is that expensive. You just paying for a name. It's not real. So it's no different than the stuff y'all call knockoffs. So you could have just been getting knockoffs. And he said this. He said, nobody's going to look at your shoe and say, oh, what, is this a real Gucci slide? Nobody's going to pick your like, I could have just been wearing knockoffs. Don and spent all this money, and he had about 3 or 4 pairs of slides. Black Rain said, when I was in the Army, we could get designer clothes made in Korea for pennies. Nothing new if you go to the source. Slave labor of the Orient. Yeah. It's nothing new. Like literally, you know, and let me just say, because I have about 3 pairs, and I grew up in that era. I have about 3 pairs of Jordans. Let me read this real quick before I go. Francine Hawkins said, not good business to spend your money on something that isn't worth it. Need to save for these trying times we're going to be facing soon. That's right, Francine. That's so right. And that's so true. It's not worth it. You know what I mean? But I was going to say that I have some things that you just can't get, you know? So for instance, I used to think about this. For a pair of Jordans, I would say I would get them if they made them in Walmart. If they made them in Payless. Some of y'all too young to know what Payless is, but I used to rock Payless, real tough, and keep them clean too. But I'm just saying, like, it never really mattered to me about the price. It was more of the look, the style. And I'm saying, if I can get these cheaper from a different manufacturer that makes the same silhouette, I would wear it. I don't care about, you saying or whether or not my stuff is designer or real or any of that. I want the look. And so a person like me, I can go into the thrift store. I can go into the Goodwill and I can get a banging outfit and I can wear it somewhere nice and you wouldn't even know the difference, because at the end of the day, it's not the clothes that make the person, it's the person that makes the clothes. You know what I mean? And so you shouldn't put so much emphasis. And I've never been the person to say, I want anything designer. I've never been that. So now when I hear about these prices, like $100,000 for a bag, I'm like, man, we're so far gone, man. Like that don't make no sense. These people could care less. These people that design, the people that are over these companies, I mean, the CEOs and the families, like Gucci, the Gucci family, the Birkin family, the Vuitton family, they could care less about black people. They can care less about black, black. They probably look at you like, yeah, we making it because we know you niggas gonna spend money getting it. We're probably the number one consumers of it. I don't know the statistics, but I'm pretty sure, I bet you black people is probably the number one consumers of that stuff. And not knowing, you just paying for some stuff you could have bought at one of them flea markets. They call it knockoff, but you could have bought it out. And now what I'm thinking is, now, when they make those big busts and they be like, they found knockoff, somebody's selling knockoff. What I really think it is that, okay, it's real, but it didn't come through the channels of, us checking it. And so they're on the side hustle making money, and they can't do that. So if it doesn't come through here, it's fake. But in reality, it's made out of the same materials, made in the same factories, literally. Okay. Brilliance Win said, yep, I purchased a nice TV, sound system, PS5 stuff, and that I can enjoy at my home with the fruits of my labor. But a bag or things like that, now can't do that. Now I can't. Yeah, you can't do that. Okay, with one of those bags, that's like the equivalent of being a wallet. A wallet, and a wallet is little. It's really no material. But imagine what a Gucci wallet might cost. Let me look it up real quick for you. Let me see what a Gucci wallet. Let me see. And you know when stuff don't show you the price, you know it's high. $436, $298. Or is that used? I think it might be used. Most of the ones I'm seeing is in the 400s for a wallet, for a little piece of material. A little piece of material, and then you see the leather. Probably what I'm saying. I'm gonna just guess. A wallet consists of. I'm gonna just guess and say a wallet consists of about $15 worth of leather. The whole wallet made out of leather is about $15. You know what I mean? That's crazy work. Crazy work. Yeah. Renee said, "The wall, share your class tonight in the group text so I can watch it." Yeah, I'll do that. So with that, let me get to this last story. Cause I think we went in on black businesses and then we went somewhere way else, right? And I'm short on time, so let me get straight to it. Now I was talking about last week. I was talking about the fact that we're not Egyptians. I brought out the story of the Hebrew that out of the news article in Texas, and I believe it was 1893. I'm not for sure. 1893 in the 1800s, right? And in there, he spoke the Lashawan Kodash. He spoke ancient Hebrew. He also said that he came from a nation of Hebrews in West Africa, 20,000 to be exact. And I brought that out, and I was just saying how black people, we go right over West Africa straight to Egypt as though we were the ancient Egyptians. And I also said that we were in ancient Egypt, but we were not the pharaohs. The pharaohs were a closed class. It was a family, right? So everybody in Egypt was not a pharaoh. And so it brings me to this. Now, this book is The Black Image in the White Mind. Okay. The Black Image in the White Mind by George M. Fredrickson. Okay. I'm gonna be reading from page 74 and 75. And let me just put this on the screen as I read. And then I'm gonna get up out of here, y'all. All right. It says, Morton's Crania Americana was the result of years of collecting and examining human skulls. As he gathered and studied the crania of different types of men, Morton became aware of the differences between white, Indian, and Negro skulls and of the fact that the ancient crania from a given race did not seem to differ from those of their modern descendants. Morton concluded that the races had always had the same physical characteristics and, by implication, the same mental qualities. In the 1840s, Morton collaborated with George R. Glidden, an Egyptologist who provided him with mummy heads and information about the racial significance of the Egyptian tomb inscriptions. In Crania Egyptica, published in 1844, Morgan pointed out that both cranial and archaeological evidence showed that the Egyptians were not Negroes, as abolitionists and colonizationists had maintained, and that in fact, blacks had been relegated to the same servile position in ancient Egypt as in modern America. What does this say? What is this saying? This is saying that during the period of scientific racism, white men were digging up skulls and looking at the skulls, looking at the mummy skulls, because white men wanted to believe that they were the best and the greatest and the smartest, inherently. And so as they're comparing the skulls with the slaves here, the Negroes, and comparing those skulls to the skulls of the ancient Egyptians, what they figured out was that the Negroes were not Egyptian, but the Negroes were the servant class in ancient Egypt. They were the same position in ancient Egypt as they were at that time in America. This is something that Black people need to understand. They need to understand that, we are a great people. We are God's chosen people. We're the greatest people that the Lord ever created, but we were not the Egyptians. We were a people that were in ancient Egypt, just like we are a people that are in America today. We are great. We have reached different heights inside the government, great accomplishments. And if it wasn't for us, America could not stand. That is the same with the Negroes that were in ancient Egypt, in Avaris, in Goshen. And let me just show you. Do I have it here? I want to show you what the people that we derive from would have been Canaanite and Amorite people. And I want to show you some physical characteristics if I could. Let me see. And what I'm going to do. Yes, I do have it. So let me pull up. Now, let me see if I can do this. These are Sphinx from ancient Egypt. This is the time when the Hyksos ruled Egypt in the 15th century. There was a people that grew, and they took over Egypt for some time, for a time period. While they were on the throne, they created sphinxes to them. Now they were called the Hyksos, meaning shepherd kings. Okay, and I'm gonna pull up. Let me just add this because I did not plan this, but I just want to show some of the images. And then I'll get up out of here. All right. Y'all just bear with me. I'm loading them up. All right. Now, these are the images of the pharaohs that sat on the throne from Canaan, who inhabited the area of Goshen, which is kind of like where Egypt would connect to what you know today as the Middle East or Israel. This is what they look like. Okay. These are the statues that they created when they were on the throne. So let me just go through it again. You have on the left a Sphinx and you have a head. What this resembles are Negroes. Okay, these are Negroes, separate from Hamitic African people. Both Black people in the, separate. They both Black. But the point I wanted to make is that we were a separate group of people within another nation. Now, there's more things I'm gonna bring out about West Africa, the people in West Africa, and where those people, how should I say, where those people came from originally. So in order to know that, you have to learn what was their language, what are some of the elements in their language, what are some of their stories, their origin stories. And so we'll go into that further on as I, go more into, the identity of Black people and bringing that out here on Black Authentic Truth. But I'm about to get up out of here, man. Thank y'all for rocking with me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for, being down with me all the time, every time, all day. You know what I mean? Salute to you, brothers and sisters. You know what I mean? I love y'all, and y'all take care. I'm up out of here. Peace.